Good evening, and welcome to the St. Petersburg By Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Hunter the Reckoning Chronicle. What the hell is that?
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised. Everybody, welcome back to another St. Pete by Night production. As always, this is Hunter the Reckoning. What the hell is that chronicle? We are a part of a massive multiplayer TTRPG set on Discord, also running on Discord, also set in St. Petersburg, Florida, where we run Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, and Hunter the Reckoning. You can find us on all social medias at hashtag St. Pete by Night. We're pretty much everywhere. Tonight, we're going to come on in nice and relaxed. We have some wonderful fun to have and a guest tonight. So, please keep an ear out for a new voice coming through the microphone. It's going to be awesome. But easier done. Tonight, we cross to the wonderful Ella. Ella's had a rather big couple of weeks with her girlfriend? Boss. What was she? Unfortunately, being the victim of Emory's lack of impulse control. The rest of the team were able to come in and extract her from that situation. But as a result, Lana has stepped away, taken a holiday for a while, and Ella's been left to sort of close up and keep the business just ticking over enough that it remains active. During the last week or so, you decided to follow up on what your uncle had said, with looking into some different situations around the area. So can you give me a bit of an explanation as to what it is she might be looking for and where her head's at today?
So, while Lana's, got her taking care of the business and whatnot, she's taken her uncle's advice, and he told her to look into businesses that have, you know, odd business hours. So, you know, places that have night hours that wouldn't normally,
Mm-hmm.
places, you know, that have, what he calls spooky places that would have night hours too. And people who were too successful,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be that successful.
Yep.
So that's what she's looking into.
All right. So how are you going to start accomplishing and working on that tonight? What is the what's the angle? How are you doing that?
So she would just start with basic internet search is what she would start, is to look for businesses that match any of those descriptions.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to get you to give me an intelligence tech roll, please.
Okay. Gotta love this intelligence.
I will allow you to use an intelligence investigation if you would like. Considering
That's better.
You are using materials and sites that you access on a regular basis for your work.
Yes.
So I will allow you to use that if you would like. Yep.
That's much better. I would.
Not a problem.
Brings me from a 1 to a 3.
Probably would be good to start maybe shifting some of that XP into places that might be needed.
Yeah. That's 2.
2 successes? That's okay. With 2 successes, you come up with a couple of late night medical clinics that are open 7 days, which is not very common. There's a couple of them scattered. There's a couple through St. Pete itself. There's 2 in Bradenton and 2 down in Sarasota. So that again, that's a little bit sort of, You also come across a late night sandwich shop that doesn't seem to sell a lot of sandwiches, but is really popular. And then you've also got the normal couple of nightclubs where the opening hours are a bit later for VIPs. So there are things there that could be viewed in that light. It's just going to depend on whether you chase it up or not.
She'll take note of the medical clinics, and that she'll jot them down. Is there anything like what her uncle described as like spooky shops that she takes note of?
You come across a couple of advertisements for like the crystal shop in the Red Barn Flea Market that you already know exists there. Because you guys spotted that when you went there. You also come across an advertisement for Granny's. Granny started holding slightly later hours. Not out of ordinary, but, you know. You do come across one other esoteric sort of style shop. And I'd like you to give me a... we're going to go wits and insight, please, on that said esoteric shop, please.
Okay.
Yep.
Does my discerning rise?
No. Discerning lies will not count towards this.
Okay.
As you hop onto the website for it and you're looking around and it's showing displays of, you know, crystals, different tarot decks, different books regarding different forms of spirituality, even to the point of prayer mats, a few different things.
I'm gonna use willpower.
Got a drop of willpower so early in the evening. Interesting.
Yeah. Still just 2.
This shop sounds vaguely familiar. You get a feeling that you've heard someone talk about it. Whether it's someone in your cell or somebody that you've just randomly come across in your days. You still get a little odd feeling about it though. Do you do
What's the name of the shop?
We don't actually have a name for it at this point in time. But we're just going to put it down.
Okay.
It's just a crystal store. We're going to call it the Crystal Shop for now. Keep it simple.
Okay.
Cool.
She'll make sure she notes that.
Yep. Would she do any other research on the history of the area? Or maybe jump on Reddit? Or does she read Tampa Bay Times?
Yeah, she would go into Tampa Bay Times, see if there's any like specific like anything of note in there.
Mm-hmm. And the other question I have is, does she ever read or go on Blood Bank?
Yes, she has gone on Blood Bank.
So you would also remember seeing on Blood Bank a link for a podcast known as Tampa Bay Terrors. So
gotcha.
These are things that you are aware of in the area. Smashing Supernaturals is kind of an odd name for a game. DIY Supernatural Smashing. You know, things like that. The Tampa Bay Times often has articles that don't quite seem to fit your average newspaper as well. So just remember that one.
Yeah.
So after reading through and spending the day sort of poring over a lot of that information, because it does take you a while with only 2 successes, I have to ask, is Ella still carrying that item in her bag?
Yes. It's the one I'm thinking you're asking about, yes.
So at some point during the day, probably closer towards the afternoon, the caffeine's starting to wear off a little bit. So for Ella, that means the nerves aren't quite working as well as they normally are. Perhaps you put your hand in the bag to go and grab something. Maybe to pull out another notepad or a pen. And for the first time in a long time, your hand brushes over the journal. The journal that you have carried with you for a long time, since you thought you said goodbye to Connor.
Okay.
Connor was, for those who are unaware, Connor was the spirit of a young man who was bound to said journal. And at the end of the second mission that this particular cell did together, there was the assumption that he had been released, allowed to go to final rest. As your hand brushes over the journal, a familiar hand sits on your shoulder. While your fingers are touching it.
She's in the middle of, she's in Lana's office, right?
Yep. That'd be the most logical place to do a lot of this exploration.
Connor, buddy, is that you?
The familiar tap, tap from the fingers on the shoulder.
Fuck.
Do you leave your hand in your bag or do you remove it?
She's just gonna hold on to the journal. And curl up for a little bit.
I'd like a wits and awareness
And
from
call
you,
it.
please.
Okay. Three.
The last time Connor appeared, you could not see him. But just out of the corner of your periphery, you catch a cheeky smile, brown tousled hair, and light brown eyes. It matches the photo that you saw at the flea market with Granny and in the research that you did on Connor.
I am shook.
You get no feeling or sense of any threat whatsoever. No response.
She's gonna text Emory. I have a problem.
Does Emory respond to the text?
Yeah, she'll respond with, what's up?
She'll say, Connor's back.
I'll respond with, like, a ghost emoji.
She'll just say the word yes.
With that new revelation, would Ella stay in Lana's office, or is she gonna eventually head back to the safe house?
She'll probably just, you know, say, Connor, I'm gonna put you back for a minute. I need to, and she's gonna let go of the journal
The hand
and
disappears
drive
off
back to the cell. Yeah.
The hand disappears off your shoulder. But but with one last little sort of comforting squeeze before it does.
Oh, we have a nice house.
While Ella is heading back to the safe house, we are going to cross to Nicholas, Victor, and William. Now, the three of you have organised to meet up at a local sports bar. Would you travel there together? Or are you going to arrive separately this evening? Actually, is it for lunch or is it for dinner or afternoon or when are you meeting?
I imagine the weekend before. What I was thinking was like the weekend before the cell gets back together. Nicholas is like, "Hey, I found this sports bar. I want to go have a drink and hang out for a couple hours." When he gets off work, so it would be early evening, later in the night.
So about 6, 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. If anyone else has any ideas,
fine by me.
Works for me.
So
William would not put up too much of a fight, so he'd just go instead of actually having to be dragged out of the lab.
Which is a little bit different. What's going through William's head when he makes that decision? To step away from his research for a change.
The fact that he's been researching for the past 3 or 4 weeks, pretty much with no breaks whatsoever. So maybe he needs to step away. Maybe he can't figure anything out without, maybe he'll have an epiphany over some drinks.
Does he actually stop to shower and maybe put on some deodorant and some clean clothes?
Clean clothes, yes. Shower, yes. He's still going to look a little unkempt. He hasn't shaved in 3 weeks. He doesn't really have the time. He lost track of time, so he just barely has time for a 15-minute shower. So he still looks a little unkempt. But he's going. He's making an effort to be social.
And Victor, you don't generally go out on a Saturday evening. So Lily probably shoots you a bit of an odd look. Says, where are you going?
Yeah, it's oh, it's nothing. It's just people who works at the cafe. They have actually invited me. I will not be late, so but don't expect me till I don't know. Don't wait for me, okay?
What if I ever waited for you, big bro? And she'll sort of give you a bit of a nudge and be like, you sure it's not a girl?
No, it's not like that.
We gotta get you happy one day, alright? I'm glad you got friends, though.
I mean, I'm trying. You say I need to talk and stuff like that. I need friends. So I'm trying. Look at me. A new man.
And she'll sort of circle around you and sort of adjust the shirt that you're wearing and be like, run her fingers through your hair and fix it up. One day you'll learn some fashion, but that's fine. It's all good. It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. It's just going to... And you be careful, okay? You lock the doors. You don't answer to anybody.
Yes, Victor. Of course.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you need anything, you have my phone, right?
Go! And she almost pushes you out the door. Get out!
Okay.
I'm not 12 anymore. Go. She shoos you out the door.
Going to be back together, getting shit together, and text Nicholas. Where do we meet?
Nick would fire off a text back. I'm probably going to get there before y'all. I had to come home and change from work, so...
Need a ride?
I'll meet you there.
He's going to text back. You need a ride?
I'm good. I'll drive.
So, I'm assuming someone messages William the address?
Yeah, before Nick hops in the shower, he's firing off a text to Victor and sending the address to William.
So William would pull up in his Prius, and the other two of you would turn up in your vehicles. Apologies. Not always sure what car you guys are travelling in, but you would turn up at the sports bar. It's very, very cliched, wood-toned, metal signs on the wall, different jerseys from different teams, definitely a few different photos of different games that have been played that they're proud of. That's your standard sort of kitschy. I'm sure there's like a fake motorcycle on the wall somewhere as well, because it's got to be, you know. And the standard screens everywhere from different angles so that you can view whatever game is being displayed at the time. So you walk on in, server greets you. You know, blonde-haired, perky, very, very young, probably maybe 17, 18, and guides you through to a table. Maybe a bit of a booth. Would you guys go for a booth or a table, do you think? What would you request?
Victor is
William
going for the booth. Yeah.
So she'll guide you through to a booth and place a couple of menus in front of you. Yeah, let you know that if you need a drink, let her know and she'll bring one in. What would you order?
Chicken tenders. Chicken tenders. The chicken tender special. And then a glass of wine. Red wine.
Just the house bread, sir?
Yes, please.
Fantastic. And she'll look and turn and look at the other two. And for you, gentlemen?
I'll take a whiskey sour. Top shelf, please.
Of course. And you, sir?
Mr. Beer.
Okay, not a problem. I'll be back with those shortly. And she'll ponder on off and leave you to your conversation. And there's a light spatter of music, some sort of current top 40s playing over the top of everything. It's reasonable to assume that the booth is relatively private.
So, was there a reason for you inviting us here tonight, Nicholas, or is this just a pleasure call?
I mean, to be fair, I've only been here, barely a month. You guys are kind of my only friends at the moment. I'm not from here, remember?
I'm not against it, too. Could use some friends, too.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here longer.
Fair enough, Victor. But also, after the beach incident, it kind of spooked me a little bit. It takes a lot to freak me out like that. So I'd rather be in company I know who can hopefully have my back. And also, I don't really know y'all that well.
Which is why I'm surprised you said you consider us friends. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think you're wonderful. I just don't know you.
Nicholas is going to lean in to William because of what he's about to say. I think after the point we get to where we kill in a whisper, I think after we kill a vampire together, we're kind of pack bonded in that way, whether you like it or not.
And to be fair, there's not many people to know everything. To handle the pressure of it. Look at, I don't know. From what I heard from Emory and Ella, Lana skipped down, something like that.
Can't say I blame the poor woman.
it must be a shock, I guess. I hope she's not going to be problematic in the future. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this as far as that goes. That's Ella's problem. That is not a we problem.
Yep.
And Emory. Emory was also... Maybe it's more of an Emory problem than an Ella problem, but we'll figure that out when it happens.
Yeah.
However, they are also our friends. Well, Ella's also our friend. I'm still on the fence about Emory.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I
she's
really
good.
thought, like, for a minute when I first popped in, I really thought I was going to have to break up a schoolyard fight. Like, it was interesting.
Yeah, she's like that.
Has she always been like that
that.
since you've known her?
Yep. But
Okay,
she's
fair enough.
straightforward and honest, you know. So if she don't like you, she wouldn't let you know.
That was obvious.
She really likes threatening my life.
I mean,
Wait a minute. Are you both saying you also like threatening my life?
in the almost month that I have been here, William, when have I ever threatened your kneecap? I have not. You haven't got to that level yet.
Is this friendship, apparently? Is friendship a taken kneecap?
Look, I will threaten to take your kneecaps, but I will not actually take your kneecaps. I'll just take your pinky toe, it's fine.
That's worse! I won't be able to run anymore!
He says that with a deadpan face and then grins at William. Dude, I have no issue with you. I don't get why Emory does, but I haven't been around as long, so...
You are very useful and really suicidal sometimes. So I think there is balance, I guess.
Look, we all can't be guns a-blazing, so...
Yeah. And to be fair, William, we need those kind of relationship because I've been... so many people reject what they cannot comprehend. So you don't have any idea how many people would not believe you for one thing you said.
Can I insight check Victor?
Yep, go for it. What's an insight?
Wits insight?
What is it that you're trying to ascertain?
He is trying to ascertain if... Because this sounds like this almost is personal. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things with the way he said it. It very much could be... Victor is talking about himself, but it very well could be just a generalization. And that's what Nicholas is wanting to find out.
Yeah. Are you trying to hide anything, Victor? Or are you being honest?
Yeah, he's honest about it.
2.
It could be both. So, it's very obvious that he's not hiding anything. But it could be both. And it's a possibility that it is a blend of both something personal and also just a generalization as well.
Mm-hmm.
Column A, column B.
Sounds like you're...
It was just for William, you know? He's a scientist and he wants to make breakthrough, but at the same time, nobody here is going to be on the news tomorrow.
I can't really speak for William, but in my flavor of knowledge, the research is more to have an understanding on how to deal with things. Not for some prize, because clearly we have to keep that secret. Right, William?
For now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Please don't set the world on fire. That's all I ask. I kind of like living here.
At some point, once enough evidence is gathered, people can't do anything but admit that these things exist. Once we have a rock-solid case, why shouldn't we reveal it to the world?
It would do more harm than good.
Would we?
Yes, because just because you have evidence that something doesn't exist, if people truly don't want to believe that things that go bump in the night go bump in the night, they're just going to find a way to say you're crazy. I hate to say it like that. And let's say that that doesn't happen. You have created a war that I don't think many people would survive.
Maybe I have a little bit more faith in humanity than you do.
I believe things exist in a balance, William. It has nothing to do with humanity. It has everything to do with there's a natural order to the world. I am a person who believes that these creatures that exist are the extremes of different concepts like anger, greed, sadness. And I believe we exist as the antithesis to that, the hope at the bottom of Pandora's box, so to speak, to keep that balance.
And what is natural about a being that never dies?
While they're having this conversation, Victor, I'd like you to make me a wits and awareness check, please. And let me know how much attention Victor is placing on what they're talking about, please, as well.
Just let me a second. Okay.
We done fucked up.
But how much attention...
I'm going to kick you, don't worry.
How much attention are you paying to what they're saying and how they're saying it?
A bit. He's looking around just because the conversation is really fucking, deep in what we do. So I'm trying to look around.
Wits and awareness,
Oh,
please.
God. It's 8 successes with a crit, I think. Yeah, it's a crit.
Because Victor sees all? Yes, he does. So, on 8 successes with a crit, you guys have been sitting there having this conversation, and Victor, ever alert. It's what you do. The server's been over and dropped off your drinks. And as you're taking a sip of your beer, there's somebody at the bar, standing around the bar, just seems a little bit out of place. The clothing's just slightly off. Little bit sort of grubbier than you would expect in this sort of an establishment, but not out of the ordinary, so to speak.
Do I recognize him?
No.
Because, okay.
I don't
we
even need you to
have
roll for that. That is a no. You also, with the 8 success with the crit, you notice this individual lean forward over the bar and their hand ducks down under the bar, sort of curls out, and you see a small electronic device. They just plant underneath the bar itself.
Okay.
Nowhere near you guys. They have not spotted you. They have not noticed you in the slightest. But you notice they place a small little device underneath the sort of edge of the bar, hidden. They purchase a bottle of water, which again is just a little bit, they don't buy a drink, they just get a bottle of water, and then they casually sort of leave. They sort of casually look around. Do you make eye contact with them, or do you sort of look away and remain slightly...
I'm trying to actually follow him a bit, and when he's about to see me, I'm trying to refocus in the conversation. Basically.
Yep, with that crit, I will allow that to happen. He sort of pans his gaze over just ever so casually. But you've seen this before. It looks like you've done operations before, intel gathering. And he casually just walks out of the bar after planting the very small device.
I'm going to wait a bit, and I'm going to just kick lightly on Nicholas' leg.
So, Nicholas, this very heavy conversation is happening, and you get a kick from Victor under the table.
Kind of furrows his brow, not angrily, just confused. He's still talking in a whisper, because that whole conversation that we're having on his end was a whisper. It's gonna look at Victor. What's wrong?
Continue to talk like you normally would, okay? And look at me, try to make eye contact with me, start like if we were talking, okay, William, too? There is a man here. I think he's from the police or something like that, maybe in the army. With I think he set something up on the counter, right here. Don't look too much. I don't know what was that, but electronic device under the counter.
Interesting.
At this point, as a comfort mechanism, Nicholas triggers his thwart.
Make me the roll
because
for
that
please.
composure occult.
Mm-hmm.
Five successes.
Thank you. Okay. You've taken the hands free on that, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am. He has.
So you guys would see... You'd see Nicholas probably take that big deep breath that you saw him take before you entered the Palm Springs Estate residence, the condominium where you dealt with Harris. But instead of seeing Nicholas continue to hold the amulet, he tucks it back under, and that same feeling just trickles over your brains. Calm, almost mountain air, a cool breeze, and that slight gentle flap of wings before you just have that, that relaxed feeling at the end there.
I really wish you wouldn't do that quite so regularly.
I don't think we were spot. But maybe we encounter something, So be careful of what you can say.
I would rather also be safe than sorry, William. Considering the other issue almost got me, offed multiple times.
You were fine.
Nicholas is going to get up and go to the bathroom.
Not a problem.
William is going to go up to the bar and check on his chicken tendies.
The bar staff, it won't be too long, sir. Apologies, it's taken a bit longer than usual. Busy night,
Did Victor give like some sort of point to where the thing was?
Yeah, he didn't point at it in character, but he said, yeah, far in behind the counter and stuff like that. Yeah.
Would have explained roughly where it was. So I will get you to give me a wits investigation if you are attempting to locate it, please.
Okay. One moment. My sheet's being silly. There we go.
Give me a chance to eat my sandwich. It's fine.
I'll do this on my phone. It's easier to do it on my phone.
Do you need to know what your pool would be?
Oh no, I know my pool. I'm just it's easier to type in the command on my phone.
Okay, not a problem.
I'm gonna re-roll some failures.
Okay, not a problem.
Three successes.
With 3 successes, you locate it without a major issue. You know it was there. Victor told you it was there. It feels like it's about an inch across and about half an inch to a quarter to half inch thick. You sort of find it with your fingers. What are you doing? Are you going to remove it and bring it back with you? What are you doing?
William's going to remove it, check to see if there's a way to disable it, and then put it in his pocket for further analysis.
So you remove, it's only just freshly been stuck there, so the adhesive hasn't quite completely bonded yet. You know when you put like a 3M hook down or something and it doesn't quite stick straight away, you've got to give it a couple minutes? Sort of like that. So you're just able to sort of pry it off. Do you actually sit there and take a close look at it there, or do you take it back to the table?
Take it back to the table. Give Victor a hush as he looks for a way to disable it very quickly.
You can literally see a panel that you can just turn it off. It's got an on-off switch on the side. It's not hard.
Shuts it off.
From the booth where we were, can I see the man going away on a car or?
He walked out the wall. You can give me a wits awareness, but you would have seen him with your roll earlier walk out the door and to the left and leave. You don't actually see what car he gets into. You don't see where he went. I'll give you that off your credit as well. But if you want to get up and follow, that's a different story. At the moment, Nicholas is still in the bathroom. You two are at the booth. And Nicholas, are you coming back to the table? Or are you attempting to achieve something in there?
Nicholas just needed a minute to breathe after what William just said. So he was like going to go to the bathroom, wash his hands before the food, and then as soon as he does that, he's going to compose himself and walk right back out.
Do you want me to check for the license plate? To be sure.
With tech like this, there's probably no point. It's probably fake anyway. This seems to be, obviously I can't know yet, but this seems to be some sort of listening device, which means could be someone important. I'm here.
At this point, waitress comes over with your chicken tenders and with a bottle of water and just, apologies, here you are, gentlemen. Apologies it was so late. We did have a minor delay in the kitchen this evening. Did you need any additional sauces or anything else?
Another beer, if that's okay.
Not a problem. And as Nicholas is walking back over, did you need anything else? A refill, perhaps, sir?
It's a sports bar. I'm trying to think. Can I get some like beer pretzels and
Of course.
stuff like that? Thank you.
She walks off and goes and fetches your drinks and snacks and brings them back.
Well, here goes my I wanted to talk my problems, but here goes my day. I'm going to motion to William to show Nicholas the device too.
William
Hey, boy.
does.
Oh, good.
William does show him the device as he's dipping his chicken tenders in the wine and then eating them.
The wine?
Uh-huh.
Well,
Nicholas just starts fucking laughing at William. In like the way I imagine the way a older brother would laugh at their younger brother who is being downright ridiculous. I'm not gonna yuck your yum, friend, but okay.
Someone set this listening device on us. Probably me. I got a lot. I'm on a lot of watch lists. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think it was you. I think someone is actually doing reconnaissance here.
Well,
I
that
told you
means-
that. Why would you mess with it?
Because I want to figure out how it's made.
I could change the license plate, but the guy is really far now.
Can Nick make a like a technology roll of some sort, just looking at it to see if he can figure out exactly what kind of listening device it is?
intelligence technology.
I have a pull for that.
Yay!
Somebody has tech in this cell. It's good.
Wow!
I also have tech in this cell.
I know.
Thank you.
You can make the roll yourself as well if you'd like to.
I'm gonna
I would
spend
like
a point of willpower.
Hmm?
I just hit enter, I believe. Nope.
There goes my bar mate, I guess.
3 successes.
It does appear to be a listening device that can be purchased quite easily. You potentially would have collected some of these from cleanups in the past. It would have been specified. These are used for recon in public areas to pick up on keywords generally. I mean, no one expects them to be precise. It's more about some weird things have been happening. Let's see what, cast a net and see what we catch. Did you get anything on that roll there, William? Or are you still rolling?
1 success.
You're lucky you're not dipping that in the wine instead of the tendies.
Nick is gonna lean into William. Put it back.
It is
Someone
up,
is
and it's mine.
someone is fishing, and they need the bait.
I swear,
Put
if
it
this
back.
is our if this ends up becoming our Lana, I will be pissed at you, William. But we'll deal with that when it happens. He says
Put
through
it back.
gritted teeth.
I can probably trace back to where the signals go. Probably.
Yeah, but
Who knows?
someone is there going to be really suspicious.
William,
If
honey, sweetie, my new guy friend. Weird. He's whispering all of this. I am 99% sure that is another hunter's piece of equipment. So please put it back before we have Lana and Deb 2.0 and I go bald from distress.
It could be another hunter's piece of equipment, or it could be another vampire. We don't know anymore. We don't know what they are. We don't know what they do. We don't know how many of them there are. Honestly,
William,
at this point,
William, we don't know who put it that. Or it could be political or something like that. Just put it back, and
so
if
we need to do more investigation.
If we need to investigate, we will cut the guy, not the device. He's going to be suspicious if you snatch it from him.
It's already suspicious. I already picked it up.
With the unhinged smile of William staring back at you across the table, Victor, pretty sure you can gather he's not putting it back.
Jesus.
Well,
Nicholas has just got his head in his hand. He's going to motion for the waitress if she's looking their way that he needs something.
Sure, just come over.
Whiskey sour and make it a double.
Of
Top
course.
shelf.
Of course, not a
The
problem,
same.
sir. Coming right up.
Well, it's not the first thing who came really wrong in the week, so it's Guy. It's come. Fuck.
What?
I just
Victor, I'm
wanted
sorry,
to
dear.
go
What
to the
happened with
fucking bar.
you? What happened? You seem frumpy. Are you okay?
It's fine. It's just not. You know, I have a family here, you know, and I need to take care of them in some way. So I'm not really happy with the school right now of my sister. It's fine. It's going to- Yeah, they want her to do night classes with the fucking monster. Well, you know.
I mean, we are in Florida. I mean, from what I've kind of put together before moving here, it's not that hard to come into a place strapped. Get her a taser and some pepper spray. It goes a long way, my friend.
And
It's just, you know, since the last time, you know, it they could be anywhere, you know, even in school, I guess.
And I thought I was the paranoid one from doing cleanup so long. Jesus Christ. Are y'all alright? Are both of you okay?
I don't think you should be worried about them preying on you said your sister?
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
any
think you
students.
I don't think you need to be worried about it. It seems like, for the most part, they seem to be quite aggressive predators. So, if it's anyone you care about, you'll likely catch on well before they actually get that far.
On
It's
that note,
just
you guys are able to spend the remainder of the evening, however long you choose to stay there, running up a rather large tab with double whiskey sours. Top shelf, of course. Your waitress is very happy
Oh, yeah.
with the table.
Nick tips well, and he is not giving the other two the choice because he invited them out. He's paying for the chicken tendies and the wine and the beer and the whiskey. It's like guys' night, and he's going to pay for everything and tip like 30-40% of the bill.
She will 100% remember your face, and a very thankful waitress. Remember, everybody, tip your wait staff. Important. Take care of
That's your
hospitality
PSA.
workers. Yes, that is your PSA for the evening. Tip your wait staff. After an interesting evening, and after the end of the weekend, most Mondays is when you guys often meet up at the museum to just catch up and maybe share notes, maybe have a conversation or two about anything you need to cover, and considering the events of the last few weeks, share research. Early this afternoon, probably around 3-4 o'clock, Emory, you get a phone call.
You've got Gaines.
Hello, Miss Gaines. This is Cecilia Kruger.
Ah, yes.
Yes, I'm just calling to inform you that I am going to be arriving very shortly. I have been informed that perhaps it was not appropriate of me to just show up last time. So I'm calling ahead to let you know that I am going to be there soon.
I appreciate the heads up. You are more than welcome to just come on in.
All right, I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Perfect. See you there.
All right.
Literally approximately 2 minutes later, the car that Emory and Victor once were so suspicious of pulls up out the front of the museum, and the same large, burly, bald-headed gentleman gets out and opens the door for Miss Kruger. Are you waiting out the front for her, Emory? Or
Yeah, I would have jogged my way to the front to get there.
Just arrived, so Cece, Emory comes jogging up to you, not out of breath, but sort of comes down the front stairs and meets you down at the curb.
Hello, Miss Gaines.
Hello. Come follow.
Yes, I would like to see those things you texted me about.
Of course. And then she will lead her way to the secret space.
Now, the question I have is William already still in his lab? And in the office? And where is the rest of the cell? As Emory brings Cece in.
We're going to say on this good day, Nicholas didn't have to work, so he's been in there all day.
Mm-hmm.
If William is no longer at the bar, then he's probably in the lab running more experiments.
Mm-hmm.
Henry probably just left Ella mid-conversation to go get Cece.
Mm-hmm. Victor, you would actually about this time of day be on your way from work, probably with coffees.
Yep, exactly. And because I don't think we have a new job right now, so it was going to maybe look at the museum. Stuff like that.
As you start wandering across the street with the coffees, you see Emory and a familiar shock of blonde hair walking up the stairs and in to the museum. That's where we're going to have a quick break, and we'll come back to see what kind of chaos CC brings into the museum itself. I'll see you in about 5 minutes, everybody.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaboration with our partnered vendors, Wolfpack Dice, Ember Fox Dice, Dragon Ink Dice, Barra the Bard, Champs Tramps, Panchi Artista, and Chromatic Creations. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpetbynight.com. The official theme song for St. Petersburg by Night is Vampire by Faith and Failure. You can find them at faithandfailure.com. You can follow SPbN on all socials with the hashtag StPeteByNight. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/StPeteByNight to help keep the stories rolling.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you have hydrated, grabbed a snack, get comfy, because it's definitely going to be an interesting rest of the afternoon. We come back again to the museum in the north of Bradenton along the Manatee River, where Emory has just gone and met Dr. Cecilia Kruger out the front of the museum where they had their safe house located. As you enter in, Cece, there is a guard and security cameras now. It definitely looks a bit more secure than it was.
Oh, I see. So now just no one can just walk in anymore.
Nope, nobody but you.
So it is okay for me to just come in next time unannounced.
Of course. Yes, absolutely.
All right,
we know
thank you very much. I'm very busy, and I these visits I can't plan them.
Understandable.
As you approach the door, you come in through the office that you know is Dr. William Barnett's office, and through the closet door that then leads to the safe house hidden out the back. Familiar face of Ella is sitting on the couch. An unfamiliar face of Nicholas is probably just exiting what appears to be another doorway or another room off the side. And it's a lot cleaner this time. It actually appears almost hygienic. So
I see you use that cleaning service I recommended.
Yeah.
Well, you might need to inform them that they completely missed that section over there. And she's just pointing at the weapons area.
I will do that. And I'm kind of gritting my teeth a little bit at that.
That
Can
oil
Nicholas hear
stains
there?
after a while.
Sorry. Can Nicholas hear the exchange between the two of them? Nicholas is going to pipe up while he's walking around, very much granny apron kind of thing going on there, with the broom and a dustpan as he's still tidying up. Emory, I told you that's your job. That's your and Victor's job. That's your mess. You're going to clean it up. As he's sweeping the floor now.
I thought you pay them to clean them. And she's gesturing to Nicholas. But looking at Emory, but gesturing to Nicholas.
Yep. He's a different case. He's actually one of the new cell members.
Oh, so he's not with the cleaning service. Okay, my apologies. I thought you were with the cleaning service, with the apron and everything. Apologies. My name's Dr. Cecilia Kruger.
MD or PhD?
PhD.
Cool. It's nice to meet you. I'm Nick.
Oh, okay. Are you an academic?
I would say more of an occult studies person.
So you're not the one
be.
I'm here to talk to. Where's the one who has the bone and the ash?
Emory will gesture and start walking CC towards the lab that she knows William's been held up in.
I was about to say, it's about this time that Victor, are you going to continue hightailing it to the safe house knowing who is arriving?
He was going to hesitate in front of the thing. And after that, he's going to sigh and enter. But he's going to be very quiet and let the train go.
So it's still a few minutes before Victor would walk in, but William, you give me a wits and awareness roll, please. I want to know if you hear a different voice in the safe house from in the lab.
You like it, desperation?
No. Not in this situation, sorry.
But their buttholes are puckered.
He doesn't know
One
that.
success.
One success. You do not hear Cece's voice over the whirring of the centrifuge and the fans just on all of the equipment. So it is definitely a surprise when you hear a voice from behind you. And you turn and a petite blonde woman is staring around the lab. Cece, the lab is immaculate. It is spotless. You can see there's definitive research that has been done. The equipment is almost brand new. But well kept and well maintained. And you are faced with a slightly disheveled individual who seems a little bit startled at your approach in the doorway.
Hello? My apologies. Emory, who is this?
Dr. Cecilia Kruger.
You're Miss Kruger! Dr. Kruger, I'm sorry. You're
Yes,
Dr. Kruger.
I didn't go to school all of those years to be called Miss. It is Doctor.
My apologies. Same by me. You're Dr. Kruger. It is wonderful to meet you.
Dr. Barnette, correct?
Yes, Dr. Barnette.
Excellent. You're the one I'm here to see. I've been informed that you have some specimens that could be useful in research.
Oh, and who told you that?
Emory.
He shoots a glare at Emory.
Emory smiles back.
I may have acquired some specimens, yes. Would you like to see the research I've done?
Yes, I very much would like to do that. It would be helpful, beneficial for my own research, actually.
Oh, well, I haven't published the research yet, so
You're publishing.
Within the Arcanum, yes.
I mean, I guess they're fine. So where are the specimens?
Well, the specimens themselves are fragile. I don't think handing them off. Traveling for them may damage them beyond repair.
Oh no, I brought my own materials and I brought gloves, so if you can just pull them out, I'm ready to go.
All right, if you insist. William will open up the. There's likely a little cabinet that he keeps his samples in. Mm-hmm. He opens up the cabinet and it's got a rack in with the test tubes, each in a thing, and then multiple test tubes with the ash that he collected. Now each in different test tubes. Mm-hmm. These two test tubes are the two finger bones. They are seemingly over 100 years old, with signs of rapid decomposition post-mortem. These are the ashes that I collected. Again, rapid decomposition post-mortem. Interesting enough, they burned like paper. And they still do, to an extent.
Cece, can you give me, please, I need an intelligence, academics, and add 1 dot of occult, please.
Okay. What's my pool again?
I'd like you to be rolling 9 dice for this.
Okay. And I do not get any desperation, correct?
No, not on this.
Okay. Am I allowed to spend a willpower?
Yes. Okay. You are being faced with a fellow academic. Why on earth would you not want to dig deep and prove that you're better?
5 successes.
With 5 successes, some of the research that you have done yourself, with the one other specimen apart from 0 that you have accessed, this would fit with something older than you have come across.
Do you have a microscope?
Right over this way. As he leads her over to the microscope,
where there's already slides pre-prepared.
Good, mise en place. And the cooks in the kitchen have it right, and I'm glad to see this lab is. And she just doesn't finish the sentence and just goes to work too.
She would definitely see the evidence of a rapid decomposition that she has seen before. This is actually, however, specimens and samples that she has not yet been able to get her hands on. You do notice a slight addition of eggs for carbon. Considering that William mentioned they burn like paper, that is potentially where that came from. This is showing you more of a caliber of research than you've come across for a while. About this time as Victor walks in, you guys would hear a whole heap of science chatter coming from the lab. So Emory, Ella and Nicholas, as Victor arrives with the normal coffees.
What did you do?
I imagine being kind of near the lab, kind of trying to listen in.
Yep, sort of like the kids trying to listen in to mum and dad talking without looking too suspicious.
After Dr. Kruger's dramatic thing and realizing that bluntness is the word, and realizing she might be taking something away from William, Nicholas has went back into the library. He's just grabbed a couple of books, brushing up on his studies in the occult.
Mm-hmm.
He is not wanting to mess with what could happen with that because of William.
Of course.
You need to put the coffee on the table. I'm going to look at Ella, who is really close to the science room, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of want to see what happens when someone takes a toy away from William.
Okay. So we're fine. We're good. We're safe.
Should be.
For now.
Cece,
So, Doc.
all of this information is very, very interesting to you, and these samples would be amazing.
So, Dr. Barnette, and she takes a step back from the microscope. What's your hypothesis so far on what you've recovered?
My hypothesis? Well,
Yes.
it seems likely that the creature that we felled was a hemophagic entity. It seems that it's able to maintain itself through some sort of stasis upon its death, and when its second death, I don't know. I don't know what the proper term is, but final destruction. It seems to be like the time moves forward. I'm not certain how this is scientifically possible at the moment, but as I'm certain you're aware, all magic is just science we don't understand yet. In this case, it seems when the time moves forward, it seems to decay to the point that it would have been at in this current moment in time. This is also concurrent with what historical evidence, according to some of my book research, of folklore about vampires, which makes me believe that it is possible that hemophagic entities have existed for a lot longer and maybe a lot more common than I previously thought.
Oh. So you're just beginning this research. So you're brand new to this. Understood. I like to get a byline of where my colleagues are at, because I believe we can be colleagues now. Yes. So, are you entering your experimental state yet?
I've already been running some minor experiments on this. I'm worried about the state that these bones are in. If I test them too much, they will decay.
Well, the solution is obvious to that, and I am surprised you haven't considered it. You didn't even bring it into consideration when dealing with the specimen. The specimen was animated when you encountered it, correct?
The specimen was indeed animated. However, due to a situation brought about by one of my research fellows, we had to put it down.
It would have been more beneficial to bring it in while it was still animated. That way you would have had a live specimen to perform these experiments on.
I agree. I attempted
No
to. However,
live specimen.
This comes from the doorway, and Ella has been listening intently into this conversation.
Oh, the other Miss... Yes, the other Miss Gaines. The one with the attitude problem is what I've been told. Miss Gaines, do you know how we in the scientific community come to understand the things that most people normally wouldn't come to understand?
Apparently by getting yourselves killed by things you don't understand.
Through research and experimentation, and unfortunately it's a sad reality that research and experimentation often requires live subjects who we have to put through certain trials to fully understand the inner workings of. This live specimen could have helped you all learn and perhaps... Oh, what's the word I want to use? Equip yourselves better for future encounters with similar specimens.
well,
How can you fight an enemy that you do not truly understand?
I think we did pretty good.
It's impressive that you took it out, but you, because you took it out, you now have no way of determining its weaknesses or why it is the way it is. We have no way of determining how rapidly it aged. We have no way of carbon dating the creature to its original... What would you call it? A metamorphosis, Dr. Barnette?
stasis. Its original stasis.
It's original stasis, then, if that is... I would assume that you would be the lead in this paper. I still question publication of this effort, but regardless. You kind of... And I don't like speaking crudely, but crude is the only way I can potentially say this. You kind of fucked yourselves when you killed it.
I agree wholeheartedly. However, in the moment, there was a life at stake.
Whose
as
life?
well as civilians. As well as the life of Nicholas. If we
I suppose
had...
it can be excused.
Well, I'm so
What did she
glad
say?
you're willing to give us your excuse.
Can
Though I don't
Nicholas
think it's
hear
necessary.
all of this from his library room?
The library isn't far from everything else, so it's definitely possible that you guys could hear this. I don't think you're being quiet about it, are you, Cece?
No.
No.
Being quiet is pointless.
Yeah.
At this point, Nicholas, letting his mask slip a little bit, stands up, walks out of the room, walks over to the lab. I don't get paid in the work that I do, in the benefits of what I do, to really truly understand how those creatures work. I am doing this to make sure people don't fall apart like my girlfriend did, my fiance did. So, have a little more compassion. And he goes back to the library. He doesn't give her a chance to answer.
Cece is unfazed by his comment. She knows that people tend to get emotional when it comes to these creatures, so she's learned to just kind of let it roll off her back in this day and age. I do actually, Mr. Barnette, would like to touch on what your friend, your colleague, just said. You're not paid enough to deal with these intricacies. I have access to money. I have a benefactor who funds my research, and I consider it important research. For the only way we can truly fight back, as you would say, is to understand what these creatures are, to discover them wholeheartedly, all the way down to the molecular and genetic level. And I am more than willing to assist your group in achieving these goals. I'm more than willing to assist you in your research, because assisting you in your research assists in my research.
Miss Cecilia Kruger.
Doctor.
Cecilia Kruger. My bad. My apologies. Dr. Cecilia Kruger. I'm not doing this for wealth.
Oh, neither
None
am
of-
I. But unfortunately, and she gestures to the lab equipment, these kind of things don't come cheap.
William,
You're right.
it is not unheard for members of the Arcanum to take external funding and for research and development.
My only question would be, where is the wealth coming from, and from whom?
Cole,
CC is an
How would I-
CC is an employee
Yeah.
of Biotech Industries. William should remember that name.
Biotech Industries.
Which organization was that tied to? Oh, that was tied to multiple organizations.
Yep.
Yes. The conglomerate. Well, it seems like you're getting funding from the proper sources, at least. If when I did research on your organization, everything came back correct.
Of course it did.
What strings are attached with this funding, Dr.
There are no
Cecilia?
strings. There are no strings attached to the funding. The only thing that I would need, and it's the thing that you had but couldn't bring in fully. We need a live specimen. I'm a molecular biologist. If we have a live specimen, I'll be able to assist you in your research. We can share notes, and we can, again, revisit the topic of publishing, because I do not think that wise. Unfortunately, the masses of, well, the populace aren't the most intelligent. Generally, I would equate that they would probably go back to the days of pitchforks and torches. And I feel like we as a society, despite what we've seen in media, have evolved past that.
Nick, when she says that, yells from the library. Very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to say Ella was about to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He yells out, "That I can get behind."
You guys are just itching to get yourselves killed with this live specimen.
Miss Gaines, no, there would be these investments, this funding would help in containing these live specimen. Of course, safety is paramount when it comes to these research projects. After all, if the scientists get killed, what point is there of having a live specimen?
Containing it. Because
Yes.
We need more information to contain one.
And how do we get that information? By gathering a live specimen. I can offer some notes on things I have learned thus far, but that would be a requirement of entering this agreement, because I am not just going to share my research willy-nilly.
Well,
What about the others? Maybe they stick together. By containing one, maybe we attract more on us. We cannot fight.
And those would prove excellent experimental groups for individuals like Miss Gaines, and she points to Emory and Ella, and of course you as well, Mr. Hollow. You can use the information that is gathered off of this live specimen and put it into practice, as it were.
well,
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. We put ourselves in so much bullshit up to our fucking eyeballs for your goddamn experiments.
Nicholas is gonna, now he's a little bit more calm, he's gonna walk out and actually contribute to the conversation. After hearing what Emory said, or Ella said, I don't think we, collectively, just the five of us, would be equipped to handle a bunch of blood-sucking leeches if they decided to come after the one that we kidnapped. Whether it's an experiment or not, that's asking for trouble that I don't think just 5 people could deal with. We got lucky, Dr. Kruger, that we killed that thing, and me and the person we were going to rescue didn't die in the process, and that was one of them. We got fucking lucky. I don't like our chances if a bunch of them come running after us for one we put in a cage.
I don't care how much money you throw at us.
Assuming they would even care enough to come at it. After all, if you were thousands or hundreds or how many ever years old, you have time, of course, you're bound to make a few enemies, and I would imagine that these creatures in a social setting are not exactly going to be the fondest of each other. I feel that predators who don't have the constraints of time have time to plot.
What's an insight for anybody who would like to try and read through what she is saying? Whether she knows more than you think, or she's letting on.
You said wits
That's
insight?
my specialty.
What's an insight? Your specialty would not count here.
I'm gonna crit fish.
I'm gonna spend a point of willpower. Okay, do you just want me to roll the dice I was going to spend on the willpower? Because everybody else popped it in and it kicked me out.
Yes, so just roll the dice you're going to spend the willpower on. That does happen sometimes. It's one of the only downsides. 3.
I only re-rolled one. I'm gonna re-roll the second one because it also popped me out.
It does that sometimes.
3.
Just waiting on Ella and William.
So that is a grand total of... So that's 1 extra success on top of the... That is 5 successes.
For everybody who got a 3, which was everybody but William, I believe. She seems very confident, and it's confidence that comes with knowledge. William, this is the kind of confidence that you have heard people speak on when they're applying for research grants, and they already know something that is going to make this grant go further. This is somebody who is coming in already with information. You could potentially take a guess that she already has a mark for you. But for the other 4 of you, she is very confident in what she is saying, and she knows what she's talking about. There's no bullshit behind it.
Well
then.
I'm going on the middle of the road here. I'm agreeing with you, Nick, but at the same time, for protecting people, and stuff like that, we need to know them in some way. We cannot risk men to go out and speak to them. We don't know what they are capable of. The one we faced actually disappeared for a minute.
Interesting.
Your confidence, Dr. Kruger, is reassuring in this moment. I want you to know that. And it didn't go unnoticed. So I am more amenable than I was a minute ago.
Dr. Kruger, who is the target?
There is an individual on the south side of Sarasota. Lives in a seedy-looking little rundown house. I wouldn't set foot in it normally, just because not just because it's disgusting, but I also would be very out of place in that area. They have a binder that I feel has a lot of information that could push my experimental phase into a conclusion. And that would allow me to provide more information that would benefit your entire little group here. And perhaps direct you into a more appealing life specimen.
Do we have any backup? Any things you can provide from us? Besides money?
From what I know of the information, they wouldn't pose much threat, just from what I've looked at. He might already have a reputation with law enforcement based on where he's hanging out, but it never hurts to be careful. Of course, as with any venture, you would do your research first. I've gathered what information I could, and I've put it into... And she pulls out of a manila folder. I've put it in here for you. And she sets it on the lab table.
I'm going to take it.
Will you allow him to remove it without the
Of
deal
course.
being struck yet?
Oh, the deal has not been struck. Then no, my hand would stay on it. I don't give away information for free, Mr. Hollow. This offer is only good for if you agree to my terms and my funding.
Where is Emory through all this?
She's watching.
She's been very quiet. What's she thinking?
She knows that there's an ends to a means in all this conversation. She knows that there's a mark and she's willing to go take it, so she's willing to take this contract.
Is she gonna say anything about that? Or is she gonna say
Nope.
And what are your exact terms, Dr. Kruger?
My
Beyond
terms
just-
are as followed. I agree to fund your lab here, your safe house? Is that what you would call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I will agree to fund your efforts here in your safe house, especially in your lab, because, frankly, your research helps benefit my research. That is where we would be colleagues in this. We would share each other's research to fully understand these creatures that you are hunting and that I am trying to understand. That is all. I just want information. And she just gestures to herself. And I am not outfitted like other individuals here in your group that are more capable of getting their hands dirty.
I start flexing.
Victor is looking at Ella.
Ella's just staring daggers.
It's a mutual exchange. I'm on your side.
I know.
I am on the side of wanting to understand and help gather information on these creatures in order to fight the good fight, as it were. But my strengths are more suited for locale like this one, a lab. My brain is my strength. And frankly, I am not... a brain is only as strong as the muscle that backs it, which is the body. If I can't bring in the creatures myself, I have to outsource that.
I mean, personally, but I don't want to risk the squad if someone is not willing here.
I guess the first thing, where the hell are we going to put one if we catch one? Probably should
With the
work on that,
funding, we
too.
can. Yeah, with the funding, we can do something here, or maybe
That-
elsewhere.
William,
I was...
you have a panic room.
We have a panic room. Then as well, our ally in our last attempt mentioned something about stakes. Perhaps that should be a point we can look into.
I can get those for us.
Good. Look into the potential of wooden bullets.
Interesting.
I don't know. Perhaps they'll turn to ash the moment it hits their heart, or it might.
Could you not fire a stake from a crossbow?
I'm a pretty
A
good
crossbow
shot.
a crossbow could be a potential.
Plus, you can get a
But-
crossbow from any sporting goods store and not attract attention.
I do have a question, though, about that, because I'm all here for this. Wouldn't we have to outfit it to fit a stake, I'd imagine? And I'd imagine at least two of us here have the know-how, maybe, to do that?
Ella's just like
Either that
There's a
or
lot of conflict for Ella in this conversation right now.
yep. She's just like I can do that, yes. She's just like speaking through gritted teeth.
well, Dr. Kruger. If the rest of my cell, and he looks specifically at Ella, if the rest of my cell does not have any objections, and he pauses for a moment,
Does anyone speak up?
Nicholas is biting his lip, trying not to say something. He's trying.
Victor's hand is still on the file, not removing it. Waiting.
This is what you want to really do.
then it seems we have a deal.
Excellent, Dr. Barnette. And she takes her hand off the file. Now, the funding will come when the binder is retrieved. It will be paid, and it will be paid in full. And she'll write down a sum on the folder with her pen real quickly and just slide it over to, like, allow Victor to take the folder. You can determine what the sum would be. Cole.
$500,000.
And also as a show of good faith. A wooden stake in the heart will definitely put it to sleep. And then we can do whatever the fuck we want with it.
Lovely. Thank you for the information.
I have a question, though.
Yes, Mr. Holler.
The thing we saw last day, they all have the same abilities?
I did want to ask you about that. You said it disappeared.
I'm not sure
And
what I saw.
She takes out a notepad and starts jotting down notes as he speaks.
I think Nick can maybe...
Emory shot the bastard. He flew behind the bed. And then I told Emory to get out to line up to take a shot because I was going to lead it out in the hallway. Well, the motherfucker, I almost became vampire food. I'm 99% sure.
So it flew.
No, it was invisible until it went to grab me.
Oh. All right. Then it would. Then logically, it would. Then logically,
This is new.
This is very new. I would test this. I would test this. Now, I would want to know if perhaps the invisibility, I suppose is the only word to use. The invisibility, if it is across the board invisible, like it won't show up on cameras or photos or anything, I would want that tested. See if you were to point a camera phone at it, if that would work. Or if the invisibility is just limited to reality and not analog.
Understood.
And if I recall correctly, you said he was really strong or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a supernatural. That is not surprising in the slightest. The invisibility thing threw me for a loop, that's for sure.
It's fascinating. I would love to sit down and get a full briefing of your encounter with it.
Perhaps at some point, Dr. Kruger. Perhaps some point soon.
Of course, Dr. Barnette.
I mean, if that makes you safe when we face another one, it's on the table.
With the current agreement looking to have been reached, and the cell remarkably kind of working together with this, a couple maybe being slightly unwilling, I'm gonna leave the cell to have a lovely discussion with Miss Kruger, Dr. Kruger, before she leaves for the evening. And next week we'll perhaps see what they uncover and see how much deeper this goes. Again, it's been a SPbN By Night production. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time. See what happens.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. What the Hell Is That is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pack. The storyteller for What the Hell Is That is Cole. Tonight's characters were voiced by Sam, Nabbers, John, Kingdom, and Nexus. Visit our website at stpbnight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.